my name is Kennedy Blades. I am the 2024 Olympian for 76 kilograms for women's freestyle wrestling. So I started wrestling when I was 7, but before that, me and my sister would go with our dad to an MMA gym where he would train a fighter. And we were pretty young, we were around 4 and 5, but then we would try to mimic what he was doing. He asked us if we wanted to learn boxing, and we said yes. So he taught us boxing, but then me and my sister would train together, and we would give each other black eyes and bloody noses, and we were in preschool, so my parents were like, let's just put you guys in a controlled sport. My parents introduced us to jiu-jitsu, and we did that for, I believe, a year and a half maybe. Like, we would beat up the guys all the time, and we would win all these national titles and stuff. There were factors to why they introduced us to wrestling, but one of them was because it's an Olympic sport. Other reason is it's an easy transition from jiu-jitsu to wrestling. My dad asked us, like, do you guys like it? And we said yes, because we loved it. So we did both for a year, but we were so committed, and then plus we had school on top of that, that he was like, well, my parents just agreed, like, you guys gotta pick one because this is too much. A person I really looked up to was Jordan Burroughs when I was younger. He was just such a dominant wrestler, and just like his technique was flawless and just explosive, so he was very excited to watch. And then I got like the Jordan Burroughs shoes, the wrestling shoes, like when they first came out and stuff, and I was super excited. And then one day I met him, and I really do look up to him because he's also a great person on and off the mat. For female wrestlers, the number one person a lot of people would say in my generation was Helen Maroulis, especially after she won the first gold medal for Team USA for women's wrestling. And, you know, it just kind of makes you like believe that you can do it too, because it never happened before. But when you see someone else do it, it's like she like kicked the door down to, you know, allow us to believe that we too can do it. And now she's also my teammate. So it's so cool. Like, just thinking like back, like watching these people wrestle at Worlds and Olympics, now they're literally on my team. And Helen's such an amazing mentor to me. I'm very grateful for her. And even Jordan Burroughs, they're both amazing people. And it's great to just, like, the fact that I'm only a text away is just, I don't know, it's really cool. I really do believe that in order to be very successful, like, a support system needs to be solid, and I definitely have a solid support system. My coaches, especially Coach Izzy, and growing up was Coach Jose, which is Coach Izzy's dad, and Coach Izzy's brother, Coach Nate. It's crazy because, like, I've been around the family pretty much all my life, but, you know, just learning so much technique from Coach Nate and Coach Jose, and then now transitioning with Coach Izzy, where, you know, we get more into like sparring and like figuring out different positions. Like, not only is it wrestling with Coach Izzy, but it's a lot of mentoring. It's a lot of being more confident in yourself, figuring like certain lifestyle parts out. And then it also translates to in the schoolroom and then into life. So just having good people around me, especially coaches, I'm always forever grateful for Coach Izzy and even his family, because I do take him a lot, like, to a lot of different places, and like Lissy and the kids are just amazing. And then as far as like my family, with my mom, my dad, my little brother, and my sister, they're just amazing. Like, it's really peaceful to just go back home after like a bunch of, you know, wrestling and training so hard and all these tournaments, and then just going back to like my peace with my family. In high school, I went to a boarding school, college prep school called Wyoming Seminary, and they had the first women's program for high schoolers, and it was an amazing opportunity. But I learned so much from that school. I'm so grateful to be a Blue Knight alumni, because for wrestling we would have to wrestle outside of the country to get competition, since there wasn't really any high school female teams. So we would go to so many countries. It's also been such an easy transition going from high school to college too, because I really had to learn a lot of accountability, especially living, you know, by myself with my sister in the dorms at a college prep school, because I had to figure out how to get my schoolwork done, also manage my weight, and then make it to practice, do 6 a.m.s, all this stuff. That was definitely like a huge step into like developing into the woman I am today, especially in the senior level. So that's why I really feel like I'm definitely ready for this Olympic journey. After U23 Worlds, I took silver, and I just had a lot of mental blocks in the finals, and Coach Izzy realized that because he was in my corner, and he's like, we gotta do something about it. So he introduced me to Coach Kelly. She's the head coach of Northwestern lacrosse. So Coach Izzy trains her daughter at Izzy Style, and she was an amazing athlete. So she's had a bunch of these like mental blocks and roadblocks. And so she understood, where I was coming from. And also Coach Izzy wanted to have someone that wouldn't be biased, like that didn't really know me, so that she can give me the best advice. Like subconsciously you could put pressure on yourself. And so we just focused more on being excited and having a childlike mentality where, we're just there to learn new things and figure things out, but also give it my all. She's just been such a huge help. And I think one of the biggest things that we took away was just, she knows how strong my faith is with Christ. We dialed in a lot with that. And so she just said, basically, leave it in God's hand and just be excited, because no matter what happens, whatever's meant to be will be. She's just an amazing person, and I give her so much credit, because like you can have all the talent in the world, but if your mentality gets in the way, sometimes you can't, reach your full potential. I think like comparing Final X to Olympic trials, I think I just made like some mistakes that weren't really supposed to happen at Final X. I teched her at US Open, and then 3 weeks later was Final X. So honestly, in my head at Final X, I was like, I need to tech her again. Like, it wasn't even like, let's just have fun. It was more like, Kennedy, you have to tech. The Olympic trials was an amazing tournament. I definitely think I performed well, although I think I could do better. Going into the tournament, I really just left it all on the mat. I wasn't really focused on winning. I was focusing on scoring points. I was more focused on whoever's in front of me. I'm just gonna give it my all and wrestle smart and have fun. And that's exactly what I did, because I had to get through the entire tournament. So I wasn't just training for Adeline or just training for a specific person, but I was just training just because an opponent's in front of me. And once I made the finals, I was like, all right, Kennedy, we're so close to making this team, just one more match. Once it came for Olympic trials, this time I was smart, I was ready, and she has a lot of world titles for a reason. And so, she's a smart wrestler, so I had to compete as a veteran too. So Mark Perry, who's the head of Sunkiss Kids, he just kept telling me, like, Kenny, you need to wrestle like a veteran, because it's a different mentality and different tactics, like especially working around the circle and stuff. I just was like, you know what, at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens, because I just left it all in God's hand. And so my faith was very strong. That was the main reason why I believe I performed so well, because without that pressure, you're kind of just free, and you just wrestle like any other match in a wrestling room. So when they, they said like I won, I was like, oh my gosh, like thank you God so much, like you're here for me, like thank you Christ, because I gave him like all the credit. So then once I got my hand raised and I heard the crowd, I was like, this is so cool. And I think just having that mentality like really helped me win the whole tournament. I think I was just so happy and excited, because I knew like, okay, like now we're going to Paris. Like now it's like all or nothing. Like yeah, we made the team, but like this is like, I'm not just going just to like, get the gear or like meet all these people. I'm going to like actually win. When I step on the mat, honestly, you guys are gonna just see a lot of wrestling. I'm gonna do a lot of that in Paris, especially with the girls at my weight. I feel like just like my build is different, and like my speed is at a different level, and my technique. So it's just gonna be a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of, attacks, and just like a lot of having fun. Yeah, you do want to win and, like give it your all and stuff, but like sometimes it's just a show for the crowd too. So I think, yeah, you guys are definitely gonna see a show from me.